The German unification was the most important political development in Europe between 1848 and 1914. It transformed economic, military, and international power. The political structure of German-speaking lands was a German confederation, which was established at the Congress of Vienna. It consisted of 39 states, where Prussia and Austria were the strongest of the two. The representatives of these states met at a central diet in Frankfurt. The major states traded through Zollverein, which was a tariff union, and railways, which linked their economies. Austria presided over the Diet and opposed any union that might lessen its influence. In 1858, Frederick William IV was adjusted insane, so his brother William assumed the regency. He was less idealistic than his brother, and he was more of a Prussian patriot. Hohenzollern tradition was that the first thing you would do was strengthen the Prussian army. In 1860, the war minister and chief of staff proposed making the army larger, adding more officers, and extending the period of conscription. The Prussian parliament wouldn't approve necessary taxes, and liberals didn't want to give the monarchy any more power, so they were stuck in a deadlock for 2 years. William I turned to Otto von Bismarck, who displayed interest in German unification. He was elected to provincial diet, and he was so reactionary that he disturbed even the king. He eventually became the prime minister. He started off very reactionary, but then became a lot more conservative. He opposed parliamentary government, but didn't oppose a strong monarchy. He knew that Germany must have a strong industrial base. And what's sort of ironic is that he led Prussia into 3 wars, but spent 19 years trying to preserve peace. When he became prime minister, he moved against liberal parliament. Bismarck had to find a way to attract supporters away from the liberals and towards monarchy. He wanted to unify Germany through conservative institutions of Prussia. Also, he embraced the cause of German nationalism as strategy to enable Prussian conservatives to outrank Prussian liberals. Bismarck didn't want all the German-speaking states in the unified Germany. He didn't want Austria there, and that required complex diplomacy. The kings of Denmark ruled Schleswig and Holstein, and they tried to add them to Denmark, and Austria and Prussia defeated Denmark. The Danish defeat raised Bismarck's political power, and then he maneuvered Austria into war with Prussia. And after this was fixed, Austria received Holstein and Prussia received Schleswig, and there were tensions between the two nations. Bismarck then ordered Prussian forces to be obnoxious to Austria, and in 1886, Austria wanted the German Confederation to intervene, and Bismarck said that it would violate the 1864 alliance and the Convention of Gastein. And after the 7 Weeks' War, Austria was defeated. The Treaty of Prague ended this conflict. In 1867, Prussia annexed multiple states and the city of Frankfurt. All Germany north of the main river was the North Germany Confederation. It worked by rules of local governments, but the military was federal. There were 2 houses of legislature, which were the Bundesrat and the Reichstag. Bismarck approved of democratic franchise, and he thought that peasants would vote for conservatives. He wanted to finish the unification by adding states to southern Germany. In 1868, a military coup replaced Isabella II of Spain with Leopold, who was the cousin of William I of Prussia. Bismarck knew that France would object to a Hohenzollern Spain, and France then sent an ambassador to consult with William I. Leopold's father actually ended up taking him out of the throne because he wanted to prevent a war, and William I was relieved because he didn't have to pull Leopold out of the throne. France then asked William I for assurances that Leopold would not hold another Spanish position. Peacefully, the conflict was resolved, and Bismarck was actually disappointed because he wanted to go to war with France to complete the unification. So the king sent a telegram about his meeting, and Bismarck released an edited version to make it seem like William I insulted the French ambassador. The French took the bait and declared war on July 19th. Napoleon III didn't want to go to war, but the government believed that victory would renew support for the empire. Paris was capitulated on January 28, 1871, and at the Hall of Mirrors, the German Empire was proclaimed. The impact of this was that a powerful new state was in Europe, and it would be much stronger than Prussia by itself. It was a huge blow to European liberalism because the new state was conservative.